Hi everyone, welcome to another conversation with one of my students. We have the lovely Jay in front of us today, who is new to Limitless Learning this academic year. He wanted to improve his grade because he had high hopes for himself, knew that he could do better, and wanted some extra learning to be able to achieve those high grades. And through our time together, we've been filling in the holes along the way, and he succeeded at completing grade 6 and 7 material with ease. So, oh yeah.
All right.
All right. So,
Yeah.
first question I've got for you is, what is it that you like most about our sessions together, and how might they have helped you?
I think the fun methods which you use, such as like using games, board games and stuff, really helps me to remember how to do things, and ultimately when things are fun, it helps like stick in the brain a bit more.
Definitely, I agree with that. I always wanted you to have that kind of feeling of, oh, do you remember that weird lesson that Tash did with a game of Jenga or something like that? Because sometimes you just need that visual aspect within your brain to be triggered within an example, because quite
Yeah.
often you're so overwhelmed in that experience. This is in general, most people are overwhelmed. And then it's almost like, oh, God, when did I learn that at school? But if you can have it in your mind in terms of tutoring as well, when did we do that? Okay, it's when we was playing the card game, or it was surds or whatever it is. I always thought that might be a good tactic to help you retain the information, I suppose. So obviously you've mentioned in terms of it, I suppose, helping it stick. Is there anything else that you think it's helped you with?
Um,
Like anything at school or any tests?
I think it's made me like a bit more confident, especially when I go into exams. After going over the topics and stuff. When going to exams, I see questions now and I feel more confident. Whereas before, I maybe if I saw a question, I kind of move on because I
Mm,
felt a bit like almost scared to answer the question. But now
yeah.
I feel more confident. It benefits me because ultimately it will help me to get a better grade.
Absolutely. And I think the thing with you, Joe, is that you are, and this I think goes across the board, because you're so like determined, resilient, and you want to get it right. I could almost see that when you was like almost butting your head against the question, it deflated you. Whereas actually you could do it. Like I knew that you could do it with, if we put some tools in your toolbox so that you knew, okay, I need to do X, Y, and Z. And that if we had that, then you'd be able to effectively answer the questions. And it was just giving you that level of self-belief that rather than it letting it deflate you, that you could actually move forward with it and then think, okay, let me tackle it. Yeah, don't
Yeah.
sometimes it's okay to have a go at it first and then start figuring it out as you go along with the knowledge that you've got. And I think that, I'm hoping anyway, that that is something that you'll be able to take into your exam, even if you're not 100% sure of the answer as well, because we're not supposed to know everything at the end
Mm.
of the day. Okay, what do you notice is different then between school and tutoring?
I think just because it's like one to one, it helps me more because I can go over like specific things, and if I've got any questions, I can like ask you. Whereas in school, maybe I'd be a bit less confident to ask the teacher
Yeah,
because I wouldn't really want to like embarrass myself really because yeah, just like I feel like especially some like simple topics and stuff, when
mm,
I can ask you to help almost like go over it again, it
mm.
helps me because always just builds up my knowledge again, makes me more confident again.
I think the thing is, isn't it? There's this. I think for everybody is that fear of like putting up your hand and being like,
Yeah,
"Oh my God, like what are people going to think of me? What's my teacher going to think of me?"
yeah,
and stuff like that. Whereas sometimes if you've got that person that you can speak to, that there's no judgment there. There's no, nobody's going to think anything of you. It's
yeah,
just, can you help me with this? And it's like, yes, let's go through X, Y, and Z and start at the beginning so that we can see, okay, where is it that you're not understanding it, rather than just going straight in at, I don't know, algebraic fractions when you don't understand the basics of fractions or algebra or whatever. We can start at the beginning and work our way through it to try and get you to that end goal, which is obviously really important. Okay, if you had like a magic wand over school and you had one wish, what would you wish for? What would you wish that they knew or what they did?
Oh,
it's a hard question.
Yeah. I'd probably wish like maybe the classes were a little bit smaller, so almost could spend like a bit more time with the teacher to again like help you understand things more. Like if there are less people in the class, it means the teacher's got more time like to spend with like individual people, and again that would help, because if you could speak to the teacher a bit more, it make you more confident, and again that almost sense of like judgment will kind of go away. Like you feel like you could ask the teacher anything you want, and again that would help to benefit, because again it would just make you more confident.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? Because class sizes, and this isn't any fault of the schools or the teachers really, it's more to do with funding, but because class sizes are so big, it is impossible to know in as much detail as a tutor, for example, like where the student's at, particularly if you're, most students are scared to put up their hand and speak to you. It can be quite challenging in terms of knowing where you're falling short, or where you're thinking, I don't understand that, because it's hard to communicate that when there's such big class sizes. And I think as well, because of that, the speed of the lessons end up going quite quickly as well, and to do with the amount of content you've got to get through. But I think it ends up going at a really fast speed. You don't really know which students are with you and who aren't on the little wander through, I don't know, whatever the topic is. And then you're thinking, I have no idea what's going on. And before you know it, you're on to the next topic. And that's where the gaps start to form. And that's when you need to fill them in. I suppose we've kind of touched on how I could help with that in terms of working on a one-to-one, having a chat about things and working through it. Is there anything that you'd like me to know based on our sessions together that I might not already know? Might be things that I could improve, could be things that I'm doing well, could be whatever you want. Be kind, Jay.
It's kind of like going off a bit, but I kind of say I'd almost like us to spend like a bit more time like together, because because it would allow us to get through more. And like I said, I feel like I learn better with you than I do with my own teacher, so it would just benefit me.
So it's almost like you need more time. You know what, if I could give more of my time to you, Jay, I honestly would, because I can see, and I don't say this to everyone, I can see how hard you are working, that determination, that perseverance, that drive that you've got within you. And that's within like you being a really fantastic footballer, but you're transferring those skills as well within your learning, and to be able to then tackle subjects that you don't like as much, like maths, makes me want to do well, makes me want to invest time in you and stuff like that. And so honestly, like if I could give more of my time, even if it was for free, like I would do that for you, because I genuinely have faith that you're the business, you're going to do it, you're going to smash it in whichever avenue you go in life. I know that you're going to do well, and I truly mean that. And I think that you've been an absolute pleasure to work with over the last year or so, and I genuinely hope that you get everything you deserve, because you truly deserve it. And I'm hoping that when it comes to those results day and you rip over that envelope, you get that kind of, I did it. Like I did it in the subject that I didn't enjoy as much. I did it and I smashed it. And I hope that we get that. I think that you deserve it.
Thank you.